It's good to have you join us. This is Business 24 on NTA News 24. My name is Kolo Muhammad.
And my name is Sophie Aigumia. We're coming to you again from the Central Business District, right here in the heart of the nation's capital, Abuja.
In our package today, we shall focus on economic growth projections, specifically those handed in by the World Bank and IMF.
By the way, the figures differ. We will be looking into and beyond the figures, and still on the economy. So much is being said about the local production of rice, and we have an interesting story of a rice farmer.
We'll also feature the regulars, starting with the weekly review of the markets and also our chat with the CEO of the week.
Quite a package. We'll get down to business right after this break.
Welcome back. Now let's get started. The World Bank and the IMF, in line with their annual practices, released economic projections for Nigeria in 2018.
While the World Bank projected a growth of 2.5%, the IMF figure is 1.9%. What can we make of these figures? Vivian Adepefo has been interrogating the figures.
Nigeria's economy is turning the corner, and there is optimism all around that 2018 will be a positive year for the economy. Much of this is easily attributable to the price of crude oil that has picked up. Currently, the price of crude oil hovers around $70 per barrel. With Nigeria's production quota pegged at 200 million barrels per day by OPEC, analysts believe that Nigeria's economic recovery is well on track.
Economic outlook looks very bright. It looks very bright because our major revenue major revenue base is growing every day. Our revenue will always remain oil for now. Our major revenue will always remain oil for now. At an international oil price of about $70 per barrel, our revenue is increasing.
In its initial 2018 economic projection for Nigeria, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, projected a 1.9% growth. This it hinged on prevailing economic conditions at the time. The World Bank, on the other hand, projected a 2.5% growth for the country. Fitch Ratings, on the other hand, has a projection of 2.6%. The Nigerian government, however, on the strength of the economic recovery and growth plan, is a lot more positive. It therefore projects a 3.5% growth. How do you reconcile the difference in these figures? What are the determinants, and how valuable are they to managers of the economy?
On the basis of the performance of the economy in the last 3 quarters as released by the National Bureau of Statistics and movement in macroeconomic indicators, those international financial agencies, the World Bank and IMF, perhaps use those actual performances and future expectations about macroeconomic variables movement to project this divergent 2018 future economic growth rate.
If the methodologies are right, then the differences may not be too much. Like we've seen in the case of these international projections now, there is a tendency for convergence, as it were, compared to the situation as at the 3rd quarter of 2017, when some of the projections were made. The IMF made its projections at that time. The World Bank also had projections, but the outlook as at now has more or less changed to a more positive outlook, and that has informed the revision which the World Bank has made. And the information I'm getting is that even the IMF has also revised its projections from 1.9 to around 2.3.
The international financial organizations also believe that increase in trade and investment, as well as favorable commodity prices, will further strengthen the global economy. This is especially expected to favor countries in sub-Saharan Africa, which are rich in natural resources.
The reserve should be improved upon, because that is an international signal that trading with us is okay. Not only that, set about how to maintain a good monetary policy. Like over the year, particularly in 2017, the monetary policy rate which they maintained was 14%. And that creates a sort of stability in the borrowing, which allows quite a lot of companies to be able to make projections. All this kind of stability, whatever policy that will ensure stability, those are the things that I said that those are the things government should follow. Not
Whatever the case, the tax rate, the tax revenue has to increase substantially. There is also need to ensure that the progress that's been made in some of these other non-oil sector areas are sustained. For instance, agricultural sector, the government came in, with diversification as one of the core planks, and diversification through agriculture. They have done a lot in that regard through the Anchor Bar scheme and also through providing an enabling environment for farmers. And so they have to ensure that this is sustained in the medium to long run.
The trickle-down effect of economic growth is what is always contentious. How does growth find tangible expression in the lives of the critical mass who measure growth by only one yardstick, and that is, how has my life changed? How will this question be answered at the end of 2018?
One thing to take away from these projections is that the economy will sure experience growth, and this growth will be driven by trade and investment.
Speaking of growth, one sector that has already seen a remarkable growth is the stock market. It is reportedly one of the fastest growing in the world at the moment.
So, let's see how investors fared on the Nigerian Stock Exchange in the week ended 19th January 2018.
The primary motive is profits. You know, there are two major factors in investment, risk and returns. Though the equity market is riskier than the fixed income securities, but the returns there could be higher, and that is what we are seeing. And because the fund will chase the higher rates of returns, because the fixed income securities that has been giving about 18% on the average is doing maybe about 14% or less now. And that's why money is moving from fixed income securities to the equity market. And then you will agree with me that even as at today, if you look at the year-to-date growth, within a space of about 2 to 3 weeks, the market has gained about 17.8%, which you cannot get from other investment vehicles, whether money market or other fixed income securities market.
Okay, sir, but Thursday's market capitalization witnessed a decline of 0.8%. What would you say was responsible, considering that the market was doing so well?
You know, we're in business to make profit. People will want to take profit. You understand? Some people that have made about 5-10% within a week might say, okay, let me take profits before the price of those stocks will come down. Because stock market is just like a whole economy. It's cyclical. You know, in the economy, bull alternating recession, and then the capital market, you know, there's bull runs and the bear runs. So the market cannot continue to go up indefinitely. And if some people don't sell, how will some other people enter? I believe that we are just starting, because apart from the PFAs that are coming back, the foreign investors are already in the market, and then the economy is awash with liquidity, and the fixed income securities are no longer very attractive. So money will find a place where they can get better returns, and the market will still, and because of what the regulatory authorities are doing in terms of control, I think we have just started. Like I think Aliko Dangote said recently that the market is going to gain about 50% or 100% this year. And the CEO of the Nigeria Stock Exchange said even the real fund has not really entered. Now what we have just seen is a tip of the iceberg. So what I will encourage people to do is that they should take position before it is too late.
The bullish run in the stock market has been attributed to the rising price, which, by the way, Mohammed tends to fluctuate.
Yes, indeed. This is one of the reasons Nigeria has been seeking to diversify her economy by encouraging the non-oil sector.
So, moving beyond the oil segment, we continue with our focus on the agricultural sector.
Coincidentally, our story again is from Kebbi State, where rice production has been reported to be doing very well and that there are new rice millionaires.
Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Adu Ogbe, says the rice revolution in Kebbi State has created 4,000 millionaires in the state. Idris Jega may not be one of the millionaires, but his financial profile has been changed positively by the rice revolution. All his life, he has farmed rice in Jega, a major rice-producing community, but the experience of recent years has been transformative. The catalyst was the decision of the federal government to encourage local rice production.
Before this time, we had all the potential talking about the suitable available land for rice production. And our farmers have long been into rice production. But the difference is in the magnitude of commitment of farmers into rice production from, say, about 3-5 years back compared to this time.
Jega cannot accurately state the size of his farm, but from what his eyes can tell him, the area under cultivation has grown substantially. Jega's yield per hectare has grown from about 2.5 tons to almost 6.5 tons per hectare. He engages 10 laborers daily to harvest his produce, paying them 2,000 naira each per day, including these women employed to thresh the harvested rice paddy. Jega is just one of the thousands of farmers involved in rice production in Kebbi State. Their stripes may vary, but it is mostly positive.
Farmers never had it good like now. In previous years, paddy is sold at 5,000, 6,000, but comfortably now paddy goes up to 12,000 naira per 75 good quality rice. Farmer never had it good like now.
Agriculturists say rice production has increased by 300%.
The federal government has made huge investments to boost rice production, especially through the Anchor Borrowers Program.
Mohammed, I think you should consider becoming a rice farmer since you are from a rice producing area. Our next story is not about a millionaire farmer, but about a young entrepreneur who may count millions with the enterprise she has taken up. Mohammed has been talking with her.
Hi, my name is Titila Yusuf, the CEO of Mosa Makeup and Nail Studio. Thank you for having me.
Okay, how profitable is makeup business, especially in this environment?
I would say the business is quite profitable. I mean, it covers a lot of costs. It puts the food on the table and it brings in a lot of money.
Something must have kept you going after a very long time, 5 years. What are those factors that have kept you in business?
Well, seeing my clients, putting a beautiful smile on my clients after a session brings me a lot of joy, knowing fully well that it's my work that obviously brightens up a day. And money is a very great factor. Obviously, the business is quite capital intensive, but it's lucrative at the same time.
That's sincerity.
Yeah.
I love the sound of that.
Thank you.
Okay. So, take me for instance. Do I need any form of training to manage a makeup business?
Yes, with makeup, you need a lot of training. It's an ongoing thing. So, and there's always something. There's always a trend. So you need to keep up with the trend. So at every point, you need to go for training to upgrade your skills. Obviously.
Okay. Some say the capital needed in friendship is time. Spend time together to build strong friendships. Can you tell us one instrument that makeup artists cannot do without?
Passion. Make sure whatever you're going into, make sure you're very passionate about it. Passion actually takes you far in whatever you do.
Okay. Everything we've talked about so far, if you bring them together, you discover that they'll have to come down with some sort of challenges. For you, what are those challenges you faced or still facing?
One of the challenges I would say is traveling. Traveling can be a bit of a challenge because there are certain parts of Nigeria that you cannot fly into, you probably have to go by road. The process itself is very exhausting and it can be very stressful. So I would say traveling is one of my major challenges.
How would you put your relationship with your client? I mean, your value chain now, since you started up until now, how has it grown? Give us the statistics. How did you start and where you are now?
Well, it has really grown. I remember when I started with just one client actually. And now I can't even keep up with the number of clients.
Family member probably.
Yes, I started with a family member, exactly. And now I can't even say how many clients I have because I get calls on a daily basis. So it's quite large.
Okay. That was an interesting chat session with Titilayo Yusuf, a young entrepreneur and CEO Hamosa Makeup and Nail Studio here in Abuja, Nigeria. Next week, another young entrepreneur shall be on this segment. Sophie, young entrepreneurs are breaking new grounds all around the country and they are so enterprising.
Yes, Mohammed, and I'm so sure you'll continue to bring their trailblazing stories to our viewers.
Yes, indeed. All right, certainly their products can also find markets internationally, which is why we should join Femi Boyede right now for export tips. Let's join him.
It's important to understand and to study what the quality requirements and parameters are for export. Definitely, every export product has its own product specifications. So you might find yourself having to deal with various agencies of government. When you're talking about export quality, for example, for manufactured products, you definitely must interface with the Standards Organization of Nigeria. When you're talking about agricultural products, you definitely have to interface with the NAFDAC, who are in charge of agricultural products and everything that goes into the mouth. Of course, in all of these things, you also have the plant quarantine services that are responsible for confirming or not whether you have fumigated your container, or if it's not supposed to be fumigated, they're supposed to advise your importer that you have complied with non-fumigation. So export quality or quality in export is important. How important is this? It's as important as failing a 1% test. Let's take cocoa and a few of those other cash agricultural commodities. Cocoa has a standard international quality expectation of 5% moisture highest, 5% mold, 5% other defects, or sometimes they even tell you it's 3% other defects, where other defects can be anything from the size of the cocoa bean to even the color. So you are allowed to probably deviate by about those percentages that I have given you. If instead of 5% moisture, you have 6%, the 1% extra, by the time they are discounting it from your final FOB price, you probably will be losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's how important export quality is. The reason why Nigerian yam cannot, as of this moment, successfully penetrate the North American market might be as simple as not the yams getting rotten. They could have arrived there in the best of conditions, but finding 1 grain of sand on 1 tuber of yam out of 1,000 that you have put in a container. Let's assume that you even used a refrigerated container. 1 grain of sand disqualifies the 1,000 tubers that you have inside container. That's export quality. When we talk about the semi-manufactured and manufactured. Take the shoes that are millions of pairs of shoes that our SMEs are churning out in Aba, for example. I use Aba straight away because that's the cluster that we know as the exporting cluster for shoes from Nigeria. Go and check the finishing. An extra 5 minutes of attention to quality finishing would actually show up whatever it is that they are getting as the final price. There you have it. Quality and very serious attention to quality details is very key, a very key ingredient of the export value chain.
Finally, we come to the segment where we share the experience of a young business entrepreneur, this time from the health insurance subsector.
That subsector is still growing in Nigeria, but Leko Enwela is a veteran. He runs Ultimate Health Services, a health management organization, and shares his nuggets of wisdom.
Today we meet a very vibrant man who has done a lot in different sectors of Nigeria's economy, and he is Mr. Lekon Enwela, the Chief Executive Officer of Ultimate Health Management Services.
Yeah, I studied mass communication first degree. I have my master's in communication from University of Ibadan. I have attended several professional courses locally and internationally. I'm a member of Institute of Directors. I'm equally a fellow of Association of Corporate Governance Professionals in Nigeria.
From your background, how did you get into being in position of the MD of a reputable health maintenance organization such as Ultimate Health Management Services?
I would do two key clarifications at this point. Communication by content is all encompassing. It deals with business management, it deals with strategic marketing, it deals with corporate governance, it deals with best practice, and that's number one. Number two, which is equally very key, is the fact that the discipline of study at any university has little or nothing to do with how far you go in life. I also would like to clarify that this way so that it can be clearer to the viewers at home. For everything that everyone does, we have two key skills that determines that. The first skill is the hard skill. The hard skill is what we acquire in the four walls of the university. And I want to say precisely at this outing that takes about 15% of what is required to excel in everything you do. The other aspect of the skills is what we call soft skill or skills. That takes about 85%. And that encompasses integrity, number one, number two, tenacity, number three, and strong determination to excel, number four. Once you possess these qualities, the space won't be your limits.
There must have been times that you felt, why did I venture into this? I simply should have stuck in my comfort zone. What has kept you going?
If you are strongly determined to achieve success, you shouldn't settle for the low-hanging fruits. If you don't stretch, you probably won't achieve anything. So whoever is looking at whatever is available nearby, they don't go too far. So you need to be determined.
And your word for the younger ones out there who are watching you right now?
There's no shortcut to success. It comes with hard work. It comes with strong determination to succeed. It comes with integrity. Not saying the truth shouldn't be your way if you really want to succeed in life. Let's live right and we get the right results, okay?
It is now time to draw the curtain of this week's edition of the program Business24. I am Sophie Aibumia. Hope you had a profitable time with us.
And my name is Kolo Muhammad. Always watch Business24 on NTA News 24. There's sure going to be something for you to always take away profitably. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.